Hello, in this video we will take a look at Google Analytics for conversion counting method, how it affects your conversion count and when you should use it. About a week ago, Google released a conversion counting method setting in GA4, which allows you to configure how you want to count each conversion. To find this new setting, go to your admin section and under your GA4 property column, find conversions. You will see a list of all events marked as a conversion, and next to each conversion, there is a menu where you can see the counting method. Currently, you can pick from two options, once per event, which will count every event occurrence as a conversion, and once per session, which will count conversion only once per session. Basically, the default once per event option will count all event hits as a conversion. It doesn't matter how many times it appears during a single visit or session. It can be only once or even 100 times. So for example, if we have two sessions and in one of the sessions we have multiple conversion events, then all of those will be counted towards total conversion count, which in this case will be 3. Because we have two events in the first session and additional event in the second session. Once per session option, however, will count only the first event as a conversion in every session. So for example, if you have a visitor who completes a conversion action 2 times during their visit, only the first action will be counted towards total conversion count, which was very similar as we had in Universal Analytics. And during the second session, again, first event will be counted, and if there will be more conversion events, none of those will be counted towards total conversion count. And in this example, we will have 2 conversions instead of 3 when using a once per event counting method. The default conversion counting method will almost always be once per event. So when you add a new conversion event from this section or you mark it as a conversion from events overview, once per event will be your default counting method. And once per session option will be used only when you automatically migrate Universal Analytics goals or properties to GA4. And it was done to closely match conversion count that you saw previously in Universal Analytics. Also, if you pick a counting method as once per session or you import your goals from Universal Analytics, for each such conversion, you will see an additional icon that shows that this conversion is counted only once per session. So this is just a quick way how to understand what counting method is being used for each conversion without going into these settings. How this counting method affects data in GA4? To test the impact on GA4 metrics, I've created 2 identical conversion events and set a different counting method for each. So you can see I'm using the same page location for my page view events. So whenever this page is visited, both of those events, conversion every and conversion session, will be triggered. And the only difference between them is that here I'm using once per event counting method and here I'm using once per session counting method. First of all, you will see differences in real-time and debug view. While both events appear as a conversion when first page view is made, so you can see this is marked as a conversion, page view conversion session and page view conversion every, then only event scope conversion will be marked as a goal on the second page view. So if I refresh this page once again, you will see that conversion every is still marked as a conversion, but conversion session is captured as a simple event. Then if we go to the real-time reports as well. So in the real-time reports, you will see similar behavior. So if we look at the total event count, we will see that we have 2 events for conversion every and 2 events for conversion session, which means that both of them were sent regardless of picked counting method. And if you look at the conversion count, then it displays 2 conversions for conversion every, as we just saw in the debug view, and only 1 conversion for conversion session, which is what we would expect here. As expected, aggregated default reports will tell the same story. We will still see fewer conversions than event counts for the once per session option. So let's pick once per session. You can see 14 events. And for the conversion, it will be only 8 conversions. However, you won't see any differences when looking at the conversion rate itself. So if you pick default metrics for session conversion rate and user conversion rate and compare once per session event with the every conversion event, then you won't see any differences. And this makes sense because we are counting conversion on a session level, not on the event level, and then on the user level, which is the same for both events because we have the same event count. So in the end, does it really matter which counting method to use? Overall, since the counting method doesn't affect the number of events that you receive or the conversion rate, it's not so critical to pick the right setting. In most cases, you should be good to go with the default once per event option. This will also be true if you prepare some of the reports based on BigQuery, where any session or user metric needs to be calculated manually anyway. So it doesn't irreversibly affect any data inside BigQuery as well, which is a good thing. Google suggests you to use once per session option only if you want to see conversions similarly as in Universal Analytics. So when you might consider using once per session option overall, if you're not comparing data to all the Universal Analytics. So first use case would be to page view related conversions. So let's say you have a page that has a value to your business. And to see more accurate count of unique sessions where such page was visited, you could use once per session option. So for example, if someone visits checkout page 20 times per single visit, you would see only one conversion instead of 20, which would make more sense for page view related actions. So this would be the first use case, and the second one would be relevant if you plan to use GA4 conversions in Google Ads. In this case, you might also want to evaluate if once per event option doesn't inflate conversion count that is used for automated bidding and analysis. So if the repeated event doesn't give visible value, for example, multiple visits of the same page, then you might want to consider using once per session method. Let me know in the comments if you have any other use cases for this option. And that's it for today's video. Subscribe to the channel if you would like to see more similar videos in the future, and see you next time.